Hey besties, let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Look, if you invite me on a girls' trip and I gotta pack locks for the door or my luggage, bags, duffels, backpacks, if I gotta bring sage instead of Lysol or air freshener, if I have to bring security other than prayers, don't invite me on your girls' trip. Nah, not the one. Leave me alone. Go away. No, negative. Like, say what now? And then Portia's talking about this is the best birthday ever. Someone gave her a Chanel gift. I guess it's what she wanted. But how is going to Nashville the best birthday when you and Simon was spending your birthdays in Costa Rica for the last couple of years? I spent my birthday 3 years ago in Costa Rica. I've been to Nashville. There is no way. I'd rather go to Nashville than Costa Rica. Well, welcome back, besties. You are now behind the shade, and thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly. Now let's kiki and ha and get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 7, Nashville Hold'em. Do we like the title of the episode? No, because they're not gambling. They're at the rodeo. So it should be something like hee haw. Whatever. I don't know enough about the Cowboys to know if they use that too, but I just know Texas Hold'em is a crap game or some kind of gambling game. But anyway, do we like the title? Nope. How would you rate the episode, besties? It was good. What I will say, I don't know what I could give it. Let me think. It was cute. I like Kelly's confessional. She be funny. Cynthia, her little quirkiness is cute. And I really think Angela is perfect for reality TV. I think her personality is needed. She's gonna be the charade of it all. And I can't wait to see how her and Phaedra, how they, gel together, or will they gel together? I guess I would rate it. It wasn't terrible. I think the best I could give it maybe a 7. I'm here for the confessionals. Their confessionals are top tier. Period. Portia's back. She's good. She's cool. It's just, wasn't a lot of Shamia. Brit, okay. Drew, okay. I'll give it a solid 7, maybe a 6.5. But besties, drop down the comments and let me know what you thought about tonight's episode. Let me know, and please make sure to like the video. If you're gonna listen, please like. The likes and the viewership should match. You know what I'm saying? I'm a small content creator. I think I've been doing this about 8 months now. So kudos to me for keeping it going. But go ahead and like that video. It's free and it helps support my channel. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel because once again, it helps my channel and it supports me. And make sure your notification bell is on, ding dong, so that you know each and every time I post my content. Now, the episode starts off. Brit is out car shopping with her husband. She made a little letting us know that he takes her car shopping every 2 years. Girl, y'all ain't even been married for 2 years. When did they get married? I mean, the pan started in 2020. I mean, we only like 4 or 5 years away from it. Like, have y'all been together longer than 2 years? But whatever. So they're out car shopping. She's loving this Ferrari. She's revving up the engine, honey. Got her leg all up in the air. He talking about put your leg down. Because the car dealer guy, he's standing right there. So this Ferrari is clocking in at $458,000. Okay. So Brit tells us she has had a rough couple of weeks now. She's been in bed for days. Some days she don't get up, some she can. Poor, isn't her dog Mimosa? Child, well, who's watching after Mimosa, child? So anyway, Brit says, well, you can't keep a bad beat down for long. So let me go get me a new car to make me feel good. Ugh. That relationship, her and her dude, it is giving. What are y'all doing? Where is the love? Where is the love? Is that Roberta Flack and Donnie Hathaway? But this is her love language, honey. So she says, while she put her leg up in the air, she was waving around like she just didn't care. Okay, she didn't, but that was just me. But she says, honey, if you can't F in the car, you shouldn't be buying it. Girl, so the next scene we see them, they looking at a Range Rover truck. So you didn't get that one, baby. You didn't get the Ferrari. And she gonna ask the car salesman, can I afford this or whatever? He was like, yeah. It was like, how he know? Stop acting like y'all got that kind of relationship. Like, Brit, who are you? What you do again? Aren't you in suspension, under investigation? This should be the last thing you should be doing. But we get it. It's a reality show. Keep it going. So Drew visits Angela, and child, she's toting this. Was it like a $5,800 purse? It's a Judith Lieber custom cosmopolitan cocktail clutch. And that's what it looks like. It's a glass, a cocktail. And I'm like, it's so little, you can't even put your phone in it. I don't want a purse that I cannot put my phone, a car key, lip gloss, and what else? The phone, the key, the lip gloss. That could be about it. And one or two little cards and in a little pocket, but it's redundant if you can't put your phone in there. It is totally redundant. Ain't nobody trying to drop their phone on the ground. So anyway, she looked kind of cute. She was cute. So they go out into Angela's backyard for cocktails and such. And so we discover, honey, Angela's old messy self then called Marcus Jordan. That's Michael Jordan's son. I believe that was the one who was dating. What's her name? Oh, it was right on the tip of my tongue. Scottie Pippen's ex. What's her name? Start with an L. Oh, it's right there. It'll come to me later. Oh, I can't believe I drew a blank. But child, it's like 12:30 in the morning. So Larza. Okay, so they find out they are not related. And so she gonna front Drew off. And she said, girl, you ain't related to them. We call Marcus. She said, well, I said I was just playing. You did not. So they rolled the tape back. She never said, just kidding. And then she says, well, my mom says we probably are related to them. Girl, has he been to a family reunion? Have you heard anyone else talk about them? Does anybody know them? I mean, when you're related, somebody in the family knows them. It don't have to be you or your mom, but somebody has to know them. How else does this come about? Anyway, Angela said the peace brunch was a sour lemonade party. She was like, for real? She said, girl, them grits needed to be cooked more. The food was halfway good. Drew was like, halfway good. Okay. So over at Kelly's house, she invited Cynthia, Porsha, and Shamia over. They're gathering for food. Her sisters in there cooking and preparing their food. And so Cynthia gets there first. And so she's talking about, dating in her 50s after, two divorces and how hard it is because the men her age want younger women, and then now that she's older, younger men want her. And so she's running down everything she wants in a man. So she's talking about, um, after two husbands later, after Peter, who had no money, he probably still owe her money for all them clubs he was trying to open up. And then Michael, he had he didn't have any male friends. All his friends were women. So he was very much giving swinger vibes. So now that she's been through all that, and her baby daddy is Leon, the actor Leon Robinson. So after all of this, she now wants a fun man, nice skin, good hygiene, self care. He got to go get manicures, pedicures, visit the dentist often, brush his teeth every day. He can't be smoking. He got to be financially secure, and it can't be a vegan. She ain't trying to hear all that. He has to have a nice smile, and if he want kids, he gotta already have them. So we're not doing that Bose and Keeley thing over there in Beverly Hills, okay? And so she's like, "Am I asking for too much?" And I'm like, "Well, you left out. Don't have a whole bunch of single women as friends." Because wasn't that Mike's situation? Okay, so back to this. So Portia asked about Cha Cha's color, the dog, because Cha Cha got green in her hair. Cha Cha is a Yorkie. They ain't but like 2 or 3 pounds. And Cha Cha is this fuchsia, hot pink. She looks a mess. It's giving very, it just looks, she looks greasy. She looked like she need a haircut. She need to go to the groomer. It looks like it's giving like Kelly colors her dog herself. So she explains that the dog has been lost before because they all look the same. Yorkies are golden in their face, and then their body turns black and white or like a little black. So that's why she colors Cha Cha, so she will never come up missing. So she is this vibrant, hot pink fuchsia color, and she says that the color is, safe, vegan free, whatever the is. No, it's healthy. It's a healthy color. So Portia asks about the peace brunch, and so Shamia says it was horrible. Kelly was like, Drew and Angela, they were like team twirl, honey. And Brit was like defensive. She was in a defensive mood, because she was dealing with the blogs and all that. And so Brit tells her husband over at her house how Angela was coming for her insurance career. Remember, they're at the car dealership still. And so she lets us know she is under investigation because with all the allegations going on, she's a corn star. She's a born star. She's a torn star. You get what I'm saying? The word starts with a P, torn, corn, born, sworn. Did I miss any other ones? And so an escort, and she's a fraud. So they have, they hold their insurance agents up to a high standard. So yeah, she's under investigation. And there's a lot of red tape with being in insurance. So now she feels like she can't trust Angela, and she says she heard that Charles do have a baby. He had a baby on her. And production was like, where you hear that from? She was like, baby, them streets is talking, girl. They talking because they have said it in every episode. Since like the second episode, it has been mentioned in almost every other episode, if not every. So Angela says she thought Brit would have been more humble when she came. She thought she would have saw some growth. Some growth? What about Team Twirl? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Brit did all this in her 20s. Brit is only in her 30s. We're only talking about 10 years ago. Team Twirl is a senior citizen. When is she gonna grow up? You know what I'm saying? When is she gonna humble herself and grow up? I have never seen Kenya so quiet. I didn't know all you had to do was just say a little, speak a little at her, and she will shut all the way up. I haven't seen that since she been on the show. So then Drew says, she reads Angela a text that she got from Brit. Brit was asking to go have drinks. She thinks they got off on the wrong foot. Drew has not even responded. She's like, I'm left her on red. So, child, Angela asked her about Ralph, like, how's it with him being at the house? Because this is a weekend, and this is the weekend that Drew is not home. So she's coming from a hotel room, somebody else's house. We don't know. So Drew is not feeling the leaving the house every weekend. So she's sick of that because I don't mind. I don't blame her. That's every other weekend you got to pack up and go somewhere. It's just totally, I'm sure it's a huge inconvenience. So they have Drew and Ralph, they have an upcoming court date. And, she really wants to get this case back sealed to protect the kids. She doesn't want the kids to read about all this on the internet later in life about how they've been going back and forth and just causing unnecessary childhood trauma for the kids, right? The judge unsealed it. We don't know why, but Ralph wanted it to be unsealed. So she doesn't want, the kids to know about their fighting. She said Ralph seems jealous about her working with Dennis now. Drew said, Dennis talked to Ralph about it. She talked to Porsha about it. And I'm like, no, you did not. You text her a few times and she has been ghosting you, but you never just put it out there what you wanted to talk about. You never said, you just said, oh, well, because she didn't comply to you. The girl is going through a lot. Maybe you should have just sent her a heartfelt text and let it go from there. You only can do what you can do, but you decided to just leave it alone. Now, what is Drew? Did y'all say she was a Taurus? I can see that. Okay, so now she's saying that Porsha and Ralph seem to now have a problem with them two working together. I mean, hello, you are treading on troubled waters, Drew. Let's stop being stupid. Stop. Well, she's not that. Yeah, stop. Stop being stupid. So Portia says she don't care about Drew and all these shenanigans she got going on. She is growing past it because she got enough on her plate. She just can't do all that. She's not gonna give it any more energy. It's just probably making Dennis even more harder to deal with. So she just like, look, I got enough going on. I'm just gonna do what I'm doing and hope for the best. So she says she's grown past this mess with Drew. Cynthia doesn't believe her. And hey, neither do we, Cynthia. So Portia says her birthday is coming up and she wants to have a Cowboy Carter themed birthday party trip. Not in Atlanta, but in Nashville, honey. She was like, I'm trying to be in my bad beat era. When I go to Nashville, I feel freedom and fun, and I want to get into the country things. She's going to invite her real friends, Monyetta, Chanel, Amy, and Provi, and then her sister Lauren is coming, but they're only coming for one night. They're only in for one night in town, baby. Be down because I get around. Okay, did I say that right? Well, you know what I meant if I didn't. So she did not extend an invitation to Drew. So Angela brings up Portia's birthday trip to Drew over in their backyard. And she's like, I want to extend an invitation to you, you know. And what? How do you invite somebody to somebody else's birthday trip? You don't invite people to something where people invited you. Like, come on now. You are real, but it's good for the show, right? Okay. So Drew's looking like, So Angela's like, no, 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 no. Because in my mind, Portia did not say no, honey. So when you don't say no, it's a yes. And so what Portia said was, Your call is the only one on silent. Now, what happened earlier that day, Porsha called everybody on a group FaceTime. It was 5 of them or whatever. And so she's inviting them. And Angela's asking her about Drew. And as Porsha said, she was like, Angela, your call is the only one silent. Read the room, Angela. That means no. Okay? It means no. So Drew said, oh, no, I'm not coming. Angela says, well, no, come on, and I'll work on Porsha. Drew is like, well, it would have to come from her. Okay? And we know it's not because she's not even talking to you. She's a little cordial, but that's it. Brit says she will go because it will be like some good vibes and she wants peace. And I'm like, what? That don't even go with this trip. I could see if she said I want to be with the girls and have good vibes and have some fun. What about this trip is going to be peaceful? The brunch wasn't peaceful. How is this trip going to be peaceful, Brit, for you? You barely like Angela. What is happening? So Porsha said she wants good vibes on her trip and she don't want no negative energy around. Well, baby, okay. So Drew says if Porsha doesn't mind her coming, she will. Okay, so now she's changing her mind. Portia's like, I ain't fooling with her, out of sight, out of mind. So then they do a little montage of Shamia at the studio working on her music. Then Kelly is teaching her daughter how to drive. Stressful situation. If you know, you know. Whew, honey. Teaching a kid how to drive is something else. They think they know more than you. But meanwhile, they trying to unalive the both of y'all. For somebody that knows so much, show is getting ready to send us up out of here. Slow down, pay attention, sit up, stop talking, turn the radio down, and listen to me. Okay? If you know, you know. Angela's asking her kids, how does her face look? They haven't said much because after she got her nose done, she admits that it was pinched too much. I was like, okay, Latoya Jackson. And so she was told to get Botox and that'll help blow her nose back up. What? Whew. So now it blew her face up and not her nose. So child, her son gonna tell her, child, you look like Yoshi from Super Mario. I was like, it be your kids, it be your kids, it be your kids, honey. So Cynthia and Portia, they talk for a second. And Cynthia's getting ready for Nashville, honey. She says she got to go on Amazon and get her a cowboy hat. And I'm like, Cynthia, you are a whole model. You are a whole woman. Do you mean a new cowboy hat? Because I'm just a regular person and I have two cowboy hats, two of them. So she got to go on Amazon. I'm not even mad, honey, because they do have cute stuff on Amazon. So and then she tells Portia how shocked she is that her and Simon are getting divorced. And she's like, I told you to be his peace, honey. And so Portia's like, well, I wasn't being his peace all the time, but sometimes I needed peace and blah, blah, blah. So they laugh about that. Okay. So then, honey, Drew and Brit meet for drinks, honey. They find something in common. They love lemon drops. Drew likes hers with tequila, and Brit likes hers the regular way with vodka. Brit says no one wanted to know how she felt. She was like, where was her support at the brunch? Because they was all like, well, we've talked to Kenya. We wanted you to know what she said. And she was like, y'all talked to Kenya? So she was like, where's my support? Yeah, like none of you guys asked me how I was doing or how I felt about the situation. But you had this peace brunch for me. Yeah, okay. Drew said Britt came off like she was, celebratory about Kenya's departure, and so they played back what Britt said. I'm here, she's not here. So read the room. Girl, y'all ain't even in the room. You're outside in the backyard. Be quiet. So then Drew asked her, did you ever, no, wait. did you ever sell it? She like, sell what? The cat. No. Have you done corn with a P? No, I have not. And so she's like, listen, this is what I have done because you're going to just ask me 1,000 questions. Let me just tell you, I did webcamming, for 1 week when I was in my 20s. I was on camera, not clothed. I don't even know if I can say the N word. Can I say naked? I was having a conversation with one of my women friends. That was it. And she said she made a nice penny off that. She made some coins off of it. It was nothing X-rated or nothing. So Brit asked Drew, she said, who's behind this, the fellatio incident? Drew says, I said, I may know. I didn't say I do, And so she says, oh, but Drew said something else. And then Britt was like, oh, wait, so you know who the D belonged to? And so Drew was like, no, 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 I like to joke. I like to joke. And so Drew in her confession was like, no, I don't know. She said, but I understand what's going on. I know what it's like to be in the blogs and having a character being compromised. I get it. And so they decide that they like each other enough to move forward. You're right. Good. Okay. So, child, it is the day that Drew and Ralph are going to court, honey. So I guess her sister is there for moral support, having her back, making sure Ralph don't come at her crazy. I guess that's what she's there for because she is there living with Drew and everything. So they leave for court separately, same house, separate cars. You get it. And so for Drew, her goal is to get Ralph out of the crib. She ready for him to go. Get out my basement, give me some child support. And she wants to seal the divorce, right? So Drew tells us that there's damaging information in the divorce, but it's like coming all from him. The cheating, him taking some of her money, him, being nasty texting with women. Put the S in front of texting with women. And then he wants to track her down and keep up with her whereabouts. Um, they get there, they're talking to their attorneys and everything. Child, we learn that Ralph is on his third attorney. And I don't know, is he firing the last two or are they quitting the case? But he may be firing them because I think he's looking for someone that gets him, someone that wants to go after her and protect him more. And so she amping him up saying, this divorce is just a money grab, blah, 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 blah. So he all amped up like, yeah, let's go, let's do it, let's do it. So Drew's attorney is saying like Ralph still hasn't turned in his financials. He ain't gonna turn him in, girl. So after court, nothing Drew wanted was granted. So she's sad, So he's outside of court. He was all like, yeah, I don't have to leave. I ain't gotta go nowhere. He's with his cousin. So they like, yeah, yeah. So his cousin said, yeah, he said, yeah, you don't have to leave the house. Well, he said the crib that you paying for. He was like, yeah, that's crazy that she wants you to leave the house you paying for. And so he says something to Drew and she's in the car. He's still standing outside. And so she rolls the window down and she's like, what? And he says something. So she's like, you're just a dumb ASS. And she just repeated it. And then she rolls her window up. And so Ralph says, the biggest misconception of him in this marriage is that he don't care about Drew. And it's like, well, you guys had cameras on in your household when you were married. All we want to know, Ralph, is who is in Tampa. That's all we want to know. That's the misconception that you went to Tampa for days, did not tell this woman where you went, when you was coming back, who you was going. You didn't even care to lie to her. You just came back and didn't say nothing. So it's safe to say you don't care. You showed us that you don't care. And I want to know who is in Tampa. Ciao. So he wants the records unsealed for transparency, he said. Come again? What do you mean? I want it to be 100% equal playing field. So I'm like, okay, this is giving gaslighting. This is giving, oh, I want to paint a terrible picture of her too, so our kids can see it. And then he gonna say, I know it's not fair that the public gets to see it, but you know, he don't want to look like the bad guy. And he's giving very much Aries vibes, right? And I said, this man is a fire sign. I won't call out your sign, but I'll give you your element. Because you could either be an Aries, a Sag. What's the other fire? Oh, who cares? Oh, Leo, right? And so I'm like, oh, he is giving fire vibes. Child, he is an Aries. April 30, no, March 31st. I'm like, oh yeah, he is so vindictive. He playing dirty, right? So he's happy, she's sad. So the ladies head off to Nashville, honey. Porsha is like, if anyone brings me any drama, I'm cussing them out. She said she gonna get her divorce stress out of her. So don't come for it. But Angela came for it, and you didn't cuss her out. You didn't cuss her out. You was lying. So Angela missed the flight, child. She was having drama. Woke up late, probably couldn't get that nose together. Probably. She said she blamed it on her luggage, talking about it was busting out. What is wrong, girl? You don't have new luggage? What is happening? But things do happen when you travel. But you shouldn't leave home with raggedy luggage, Angela. What happened? So P was like, Porsha, she didn't even miss Angela. She said, I didn't even notice that she wasn't there. And then Kelly gonna tell us that she said Angela saw that it was gonna be a heat wave out in Nashville. She had to go back home and get her fan. I said, child, please. Kelly is not gonna let that girl live that fan down. And what I wanted to do is see how old is Angela, because she's trying to act like she's not menopausal. Yes, you are, baby. Yeah, what's their last name? Oakley. Wait a minute. How old is this woman? Why? Why it just didn't pop up? Okay, let me see. Oh, it don't have her at she. Wait a minute. Do y'all know how old Angela is? It just has her birthday. Hold on. Why I just can't say how old she is? Oh, somewhere it says she's trying to say she's 43. And some people are saying she's 55. And then they said, "Oh, if she's 43, I'm 18." Okay, well, she lying about her age. She not telling nobody. And someone else is saying she's almost 60. She looks like they said she's 55. So anyway, girl, you are in full blown menopause, and your fan is telling you're 55. We're gonna go with that. So she was in the airport with her fan girl. And so the other ladies, they get to the house in Nashville. It's nice. It has a pool outside, child. A cowboy greets them with their signature cocktail drinks. Because Porsha P, Petty Porsha, is a Henny girl. So the drink is called Howdy Henny. And then there's a chef there. He got all the barbecue laid out for the ladies. And so they tour the house. And so they go to Portia's master suite. This is this is hers. Then the second biggest room, Shamia wants, because she feels she should get it because she's the best friend. And so Portia walked past the basement door. She opens the door and go, Drew. That was funny. So, girl, up in the attic. Oh my goodness. Up in the attic. Up in the attic. This room, it was cute. We could tell it's an attic because it's at the very tippy top. The walls are triangle like a tent or a teepee, right? And so it's a nice room though. It's big. It has 4 beds in it, right? And so they looking like, oh my goodness. Kelly is like, oh, this reminds me of Honey, They Shrunk the Kids. And so Britt, Kelly, and Cynthia will take that room. Okay. And so who was that said they was gonna come up there? I think it was Shamia said, well, I'll come up here and hang out with y'all. Okay, sure. And so Portia says she's giving Angela the other suite. I was like, that was nice. And so she finally shows up late. They're eating dinner. They're eating their lunch or whatever. And she can tell they've been talking about her when she walks in. Well, of course you can. You're a 55-year-old woman. You've been around a long time. You can read. You can read the room, pick the vibes, feel the energy. You know what it's like because you probably do it too. And they was talking. They was talking about her. They was. You're right, Angela. They said you be switching up and you need to pick a side. You flip flopper. So she gets there, sits down, and tells them, well, I want Drew to come. And what I do like about her, she's so straightforward. Oh, that water is good. So I'm like, on Portia's trip. And so Shamia said, Angela's poking the bear. Angela feels like she can come and she will mediate, them because she wants them to make peace. And that's like, well, boo, it's the 7th episode. They've been going back and forth and back again about Dennis for 7 episodes. It hasn't happened. It didn't happen at Shamia's. It didn't happen over here, over there, at this house, your house, their house, this restaurant. It hasn't happened. So what makes you think you can do it? And what makes you think this is cool? It's her birthday. This trip is supposed to be about Porsha. Like, you need to read the room. So Portia's like, who does that? On someone's birthday trip? So Porsha says, I ain't let nobody be bigger than the vibe. And I was like, come again? I like that. I ain't let nobody be bigger than the vibe. So Brit says her and Kelly ran into Angela when they were shopping at Neiman's, honey. And they said, honey, Angela was hiding. She had on some old granny glasses. Her hair was a mess, no makeup. And she said when they noticed her, she actually said something to them. And they was like, Angela, is that you? And they said Angela was going back into the clothes trying to hide. And it reminded me of that meme. Y'all know that meme of Homer Simpson where he's going back into the bushes? It reminded me of that. And so Kelly clocked it. She said, is she hiding from some facial work? Yes. So, because she knows, she knows that you got to heal too. Because her face has had to heal also. So Britt asked, was that hug real that you gave me at Neiman? She said, yes, girl, I'm not fake. Just my nose. My nose is fake. That's it. Little Botox, but that's it. So Angela accepts. Oh no, Shamia says Angela accepts olive branches. She was like, actually, I need to sell some to all these women in this group. So then they show Angela her room, and then there's a pillow on the couch that says all are welcome. So her and Porsha go back and forth because Porsha like, She like, nope, this is my affirmation right here. Nope, all are welcome. Whatever. So Angela calls Drew and she's like, when you coming, girl? So Drew is like, I don't know, child. I had court a couple days ago. I'm in my feelings. I don't feel good. I don't feel like coming around y'all, and I ain't in the mood. So Porsha feels like Angela is bullying her on her birthday. And she said, Angela is very aggressive. she's trying to get to this peace, but she's so aggressive to get to the peace. And it's like, she is. And so they go out, they're going, mechanical bull riding and then go eat. So they meet the other ladies, Portia's friends and her sister. They meet out in front. And so they go bull riding. Porsha goes first. She's like, why is the bull moving if I'm supposed to be riding you? So she gets on. She does 7 seconds. I don't know who that second girl was in the all white with the long kind of curly hair. Must have been one of the friends. She gets on, she does 5 seconds. Miss Kelly gets on. She's like, "How you think I got these 4 kids, honey?" So she did 49 seconds. And I'm gonna tell you, if you haven't done mechanical bull riding, 49 seconds is a long time because what happens is it starts off slow and it goes down and to the left and to the right and it's spinning around and then it speeds up. So Shamia, she is very competitive, honey. She likes to win, win, win. She came in at 51 seconds, and that was very good. Angela passed because she has bad hips, honey. Then they sit down and eat. And so Mayetta asks, "Where's Drew?" Because, Porsha and Drew have been cool. So they like, it's kind of weird not to see Drew around. And so, honey, Drew is over at Dennis's hookah bar. Didn't know he had a hookah bar. Does he still have the hot dogs? What's going on? Is he adding to the repertoire or is he switching gears? So she's celebrating. They got a record deal. And he sent the bottle over and she's like, "Thanks for the bottle, bro." She made that very clear that this is what she calls him, bro. So Portia's telling the ladies that Angela's excuse me. Portia's telling the ladies that Angela's having Drew crash. And somebody says, "That's so rude." Now back up to Drew. So she does say after this celebration about her record deal, she will be coming to Nashville after. I said, "Of course you will. You have to. It's your job." But is that sister coming too? Okay. So someone says, "That's so rude." And so Angela's like, "No, the energy you gave was that it was okay." And it's like, "No, she did not." And so she says, "No, you pressured me." And Anna's like, "Pressured you? No, no, I didn't pressure you." Portia's like, well, I'm not going to be mean to her. I mean, I am giving her a room. Child, I'm giving her a room with 2 beds, is what she said. They showed that bed. They showed that room. It's a kitty bedroom with a bunk bed. Look like for 2 little kids that are 5. It don't even look like a full twin size bed. But baby, nonetheless, it's a room with 2 beds in it. She didn't lie, but she didn't say it was a kitty room with bunk beds. So Angela's like, "No, I just thought this would be a perfect opportunity to lay everything down. All the issues can be laid down on the table." Portia was like, "I thought Angela was calm, peaceful, demure. No, she is stressful." Don't ever describe me as stressful. That is hilarious. So she said, "She is too much." And so here go Portia's little clap back. "What kind of glue is on your MFing wig?" So then they have a back and forth and back again. "Well, I'm gonna treat you like your age, Angela. I'm 5." And then Portia, "Well, you need to keep your mouth shut." And so Angela's like, "Well, I don't like how you talking about her when she's not here to defend herself." Angela tells us, honey, she can stand 10 toes down on any situation, honey, because she wears a size 12 in women's. I'm like, I know you, what? I know you lying. A size 12? Girl, good googly muggly. But Angela is a 6-footer, so she can't wear a size 8. And so the other people are like, "Well, what happened? What happened?" So Portia's, explained it. Me and Drew was doing some business, some professional business. We friends too, but then it got out of hand. She's like, she talks to Dennis more than just making music. I think Cynthia said that. And so they was like, allegedly. And so, honey, one of Portia's friends says, "Oh, she sucked some DICK." And they all like, "Who?" What? What? And so, honey, it's explained by Porsha that Dennis likes that more. It keeps his body count balanced. Because she would ask, oh, you did it to her? You know her? You did it to her? You did it to her? No, she just gave me fellatio. She just gave me some fellatio. She bossed me up. She gave me some of that head. She's a head doctor. She just sang on a mic. She slurped it. Yeah. And she said, doing this keeps his body count balanced. And I'm like, he's a man. He don't care about having a low body count, Porsha. He just likes fellatio more than he likes P Valley. And that's the end. That was the end of the episode, besties. I hope you enjoyed my review, my recap. Please like the video, make sure you subscribe, and go ahead and drop a comment down in the comment section, and make sure that notification bell is on, ding dong, so that you know each and every time I post my content. And I will be back with another recap. Ha! Bye, bestie.